Hello fellow nerds and bibliophiles, welcome to Ridcully's book review. Today we're going to be reviewing one of the greatest books of all time. This is a book that Robert Jordan would never be able to write, and it's a book that Ryan Johnson wouldn't even be able to read. We're going to go through George Orwell's Animal Farm. George Orwell's Animal Farm is a classic for all times and all people, all languages, everywhere on the earth, for the simple fact that it does two things. It takes the common lies that humans have been telling each other since the dawn of time, and he puts them right in your face, right out where you can see them, and everybody that reads the book can see so many examples in our own histories and our own times. It doesn't matter which country, which town, which city, which two countries you think of. He brings examples of human nature and the lies that humans tell each other to gain over one another, and he brings them into this book. I mean, it was originally written making fun of Russia and communism and how it came about. But it's so much more than that. I mean, the lies and the greed and what happens in Animal Farm, any written history, any history of any people, any religion, any state, any town, there's never been a perfect utopia. The lies in Animal Farm haven't existed, and it's a book that really needs to be written, not written. It's a book that really needs to be required reading for everybody in the school systems, everybody on Earth, really, so that education is the only real way that you can change a society, and that hopefully someday we can change humanity. Hopefully, if everybody was to read Animal Farm, more people would be able to see some of the manipulations that are happening in the world, hopefully in their own lives and their own communities. I'm going to go through some of the specifics. From here on out, there is going to be spoilers. I'm going to go through my notes like I always do, and I'm going to go through my notes and bit by bit and try and pick out some of the more memorable phrases. There's a few that are timeless, and you should know already, just living in any type of society that has Animal Farm in it, and any type of society that makes fun and acknowledges some of the lies that are told. The biggest ones would be 4 legs good, 2 legs bad, switching to 4 legs good, 2 legs better. The sheep get taught on the farm. The rules, how they're broken through the book, until they finally come down to one rule, and it's kind of the quintessential meaning and the purpose behind the book and what human nature justifies to itself. When the one rule comes down to say all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. The cynicism, black humor, but also the truth in the human condition and human nature, and the warnings that we should take to heart and be on the lookout when we hear and see people and governments saying these things. Let's go through some of my notes. The book starts out with an old pig, and his name was Major, and he dies. And he calls all the animals together because he has an epiphany, and he has this vision that animals should work together, that they should grow, they should synergistically achieve more by not having the humans on the farm. And this is a basic communist manifesto, and it's true. You know, the concepts of everybody working together for the betterment of everyone, you know, of course, if everybody was to do that, the society would grow, it would be stronger, it could produce more than theoretically any other society that exists. If everyone was working to the fullness of their ability to help the society. And he paints this vision, and his idea and his vision is that the humans are the reason that this society can exist. They need to get rid of the humans on the farm. And he dies, but right before he dies, he teaches them the words to Beasts of England. And it's a unifying song, it's a theory, it teaches rebellion, it's a call. It's the manifesto. It's the manifesto for animals to work together and overthrow the humans. Much like, you know, the Communist Manifesto that it's making fun of. You're killing me. And right off the bat, you know, Major dies and the animals get together and they talk about what the ideas are. And right off the bat, Molly asks, Molly is the pretty horse, the one with ribbons, and the one that always eats sugar. And she says, "Will there be ribbons? Will there be sugar?" And she's immediately, "No, go away! You're killing me." And she's immediately told, "No, you don't need those things. Those are the chains of your slavery for you to even want ribbons and sugar." And if you think about it, you know, it's basically saying, you know, you shouldn't even want these luxuries. In a society where we're all working together, working for the betterment, luxuries, you know, won't be needed. But what it's really saying is we don't have these, so we're going to label these things as bad because we can't get them. Yeah, a common practice, religion, groups, families, my parents. You know, though those things are bad, don't even want them. I got a kick out of that one. And then they call a vote, and the humorous part about this vote is they're voting about the rats and the different wild animals. Our wild animals, are they going to be part of our new society? And the vote is yes. And there's the only things the vote would no are the cat. And I believe the dogs. They don't want the wild animals, especially the rats, to be part of the society. Then it turns out the cat had voted on both sides. I thought that was a humorous play on the personality that cats really have, and then also on some of our shysters in society, how they'll play both sides of the argument, see which way the wind will blow, and whatever side it goes, that's where they're going to be. There's a raven on the farm named Moses. And he's the one that tells them about Sugar Candy Mountain, I believe it is. You know, where animals go when they die. And he plays the part of preachers and different religious figures in our society, and talking about the afterlife. Boxer. Yeah, Boxer's a huge part of the story, the big strong horse. The power and the force and the energy, the workforce of a community, the workforce of a nature. He's played in Animal Farm by Boxer, the great big horse that does most of the work. And his motto is "I will work harder." And later on, Napoleon, one of the pigs that takes over the farm, is always right. You know, he's just too dumb. You know, he figured if he works harder, you know, he'll be the example and everything will turn out right. And the animals they're meeting in secret, but they're still not going to rebel. And then the interesting thing is then there's a day of complete neglect by Farmer Jones when the animals get hungry. And it's brilliant because historically, societies as a whole will put up with almost anything unless they're hungry. The statement's been made that any society is 2 meals away from revolution and chaos. And that is true. Societies, human nature, people will ignore. When it comes down to it, if they have bare minimums and the barest minimum of food, that they will put up with almost anything. And that's what causes the rebellion. He doesn't feed them. The animals break into the food. He comes out after them. And the animals just get caught up in the moment and take over the farm. Hunger, he accurately points out how hunger is the catalyst of most revolutions, of most rebellion, of most change. And it's interesting politically that a lot of the governments of the world have figured this out. I think I have a lot of contact with Brazil. As much as the Brazilian government steals from its people, it has all kinds of programs to try and make sure that there's the minimum amount of food. They've learned from history that if you get, not even has to be the whole population, but a portion of your population, starving and real hunger, revolution is going to follow shortly on the heels. So the animals take the farm, and then the next part, it's just brilliant, just everything. Logical. This is one of the most perfect books ever written. The cows need to be milked, so the pigs figure out how to milk the cows. All the animals go to work, the animals come back, and the milk's gone. The pigs are just like, don't worry about it. And the animals don't say anything. One day after the revolution, and the first semi-luxury that the farm can produce is gone. And of course, the pigs have taken it, and the pigs are eating it. Later on, they justify it by saying, scientifically, another brilliant point, a brilliant lie that he puts into the book is, scientifically it's been proven that pigs need milk. And that's a lie that's continued. Look in your politics today. Whenever you see a politician saying, science proves, challenge it. Sometimes it's true, but almost always you'll find other scientific proof, a lot of times of the complete opposite, or you'll find out that the scientific proof is a half-truth or within a certain field. But it's a constantly used argument in politics and human nature, still used today. Science has proven this, so you must support it. And the pigs use that while they're drinking the milk. All the animals are working together, and once again, the cat can not be found anywhere and the work is going on, but he shows up to every meal, and he always has really good excuses. We all know people like this in our lives. We tolerate people like this in our lives because they're charismatic, just like a cat. Brilliant. Benjamin the donkey. He doesn't believe the change is going to make any real difference. He's the wise, he's the oldest animal on the farm. There's another series of books, the Terry Pratchett books, and there's Vimes, is the old police chief. Same exact attitude. They really reminded me of one another. Revolution, crime, fighting, all the stuff you're doing, it's not going to change. Human nature is not going to change. In this world, the animals, they've got rid of the humans, so it's like animal nature is going to change. And Benjamin's like, yeah, I don't think it's going to change. The cynicism, the actually really intelligent cynicism. People like that, they're kind of bitter and mean. We all know them. The problem is they're right. Human nature hasn't changed in the 7,000 years that we have written history. Doubt it changed for the however many years before, and it's not going to change in the near future. Maybe technology will make a change. Maybe there'll be a medical science or something, or space travel will change it. But until one of those things actually make a change, just human nature on its own and natural evolution is not going to change. The animals are told to work, and the pigs are the most clever, and they're trying. They put out the rules, and they're trying to teach everybody and start the revolution, and it becomes immediately obvious that most of the animals are just too stupid. You know, this is a reflection of society. Most people are too stupid or lazy or just don't have the time. We all kind of fit into one of those categories usually, at least in some things and not others. Maybe not all things, but we all fit it into one of those categories in some things. And so to simplify the rules that they've made as far as the farm goes, you know, they teach the phrase, you know, all you got to remember is this mantra: 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. And you see that in propaganda so often. And immediately the other farms around, there starts a propaganda campaign by the other farms. And it just reminded me of the propaganda campaigns that go on between different countries. You know, I grew up in the Cold War, and I remember better dead than red. You know, and I'm sure the other countries, you think of, you know, what we see from this video smuggled out of North Korea. You know, the indoctrination, the media campaigns, the control of what people hear and see. And the other farms, he creates a little dichotomy of, you know, each of them saying this farm is going to fail. And about this time, the work's getting hard. Molly, the horse, she runs away. She gets out. She wants her ribbons and she wants her sugar. And it kind of reminds me of, you know, the example that jumps to mind is New Orleans. You know, we have the horrible hurricane that destroyed New Orleans and all the people that died. The fact of the matter is the rich people left and were out. It was the people that didn't have the means or didn't have the ability or didn't have the wealth that stayed and suffered, and some of them died. Molly kind of represents, you know, the rich people, the fickle people, the people that demand the luxury, will not live without the luxury, and they're going to go where the luxury is. We know people like this. All of us do. If not personal examples, then examples in life. Great book. The humans cry and come and take the farm back. Snowball, one of the pig leaders, Snowball and Napoleon. He leads their revolt, and Boxer the horse, and all the animals get together and they run the humans off and they win. And Snowball's a hero and Boxer's a hero, and the animals are feeling unified because they've defended their farm. You know, the elation of a new revolution just nails human nature. And so the pigs end up running the farm, and the 2 main pigs are Snowball and Napoleon. And they fight about everything. And it comes to a head. Snowball is he wants to build a windmill to improve and modernize the farm. And Napoleon what he's done is the first litter of puppies, he's taken over their education. As soon as they were weaned, he hid them away. And really this is a reflection of the KGB or your CIA or your FBI, or these protective forces that countries establish in the shadows to protect the government, to protect the leadership. And Napoleon has taken the dogs when they were weaned and created this. And in their biggest fight between the 2 pigs, these dogs show up. They chase Snowball off the farm. And then immediately after, they have Squealer, which is like the voice of the pigs. And he starts explaining to the whole farm and changing history and changing how Snowball wasn't that good. Really, it was Napoleon that was good. Snowball wasn't that brave. Napoleon was really the one that was brave. Just remember the rules. And the animals are too dumb to read or really follow. You know, like societies are easy to manipulate and to forget. And the rules start changing up on the board. The animals can think there's a change, but they're not sure. And later on, one night, there's a crash, and the animals run out there, and Snowball has got some white paint, and he's fallen off of a ladder. And the dogs, you know, protect him, and he goes inside. So it's obvious to the reader that Snowball's been going out, not Snowball, but Squealer's been going out and changing the rules at night, little by little. But the animals don't really catch on. They're too dumb to catch on to this. And slowly, you know, Napoleon takes over. The propaganda comes in. One of the rules was that the no animals sleep in beds, and the pigs start sleeping in the beds. And they go to look, and the rules say, now the rules used to say, no animal will sleep in a bed. Now it says no animal will sleep in a bed with sheets. And the animals are like, was that the way it was? It's just an awesome book. And it comes to a head when some of the animals are beginning to, there might be some little doubts. Then all of a sudden, any of the animals that were problems are marched up in front. They make these, unrealistic, unbelievable confessions on how they are in league with Snowball to overthrow the farm, and then they're killed. And you think of the political executions in different countries, or even the character assassinations that happen with humans. Beasts of England, the song, is banned because that was a rebellious song. And you see that, the big one in the United States is a lot of the freedoms, well, most countries, but hits home with the United States, is freedoms that were established in the Revolution and our Bill of Rights. Now that the government is hopefully trying to help us, but using, they want more power and more control, but in order for the government to be able to have the power and control, people have to give up rights to the government. And you can see the example in, now they're telling the animals not to sing the Beasts of England, that it's a revolutionary song, and if the animals are going to be having a revolution, it's now against the pigs. Now the pigs are taking the place of Farmer Jones, until Boxer finally gets hurt, and they say they're going to bring him to the hospital, but Benjamin the donkey reads the cart that comes to get him, the ambulance, and it's a knacker. They're taking him off to slaughter, and the animals are trying to save him, but the carter gets away, and then the next day Spieler shows up and says, no, the cart was just bought by the hospital, it wasn't the knacker. And he tells the story, and the animals believe it. And they're by this point they're too scared of the pigs. The pigs have the dogs, protecting them. The pigs are beyond the rest of the animals to overcome. And at the end of the book, the pigs invite the humans from the other farms to come. They all get drunk and they all play cards. And the animals look in, and they can't tell anymore who are pigs and who are humans. That they're even worse off now than before the revolution. It's such a perfect book. George Orwell, if he's not the master, he's one of the masters to show and explain and to bring to light the human condition, human nature, how different politics, how different societies, how people are manipulated by one another. One of the best books ever written. Everyone should read this book. Everyone really should read this book once a year. It's only, I don't even think it's 200 pages. You can read it in less than 2 hours. It teaches the basic lessons that everyone should know, the cynical but real lessons of human nature, of what to watch out for and what to be leery of when you start seeing government, societies, PTA boards, school boards, scouts, church groups, your card playing buddies. It's human nature. There's going to be somebody, all of these animals on this farm, we know people that are very similar personalities to these animals on the farm. The book really paints a really good picture, really goes through the human condition, human nature. So tell me what you think, if I'm right, if I'm wrong, if you have any opinions, weigh in on Animal Farm. Look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again.